Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rocky from Baxter's Game Store. I am the owner here. And then we have Ryan. He does our social media. Go ahead and say hi to the people.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, this is an exciting time for us because we have so many different things developing across all of our covered games here.
Yes, and so this is the first episode of Baxter's Game News for card games, tabletop, and everything. So we cover Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and Warhammer. So far, we'll also get into other TCGs. And so I'm just going to go straight into it. We have Magic. This just dropped today, May 12th. Okay? Your sneak peek into Double Masters 2022, Dominaria United and Beyond, which also includes Warhammer sneak peek. I think I saw... what else besides the Double Masters? Oh, it's different secret layers and things.
We're seeing a new Dominaria set, too.
Yes. So that'll be exciting. Now, if you don't see the screen, I'll tell you what's on there. And if you're listening, like driving home, this is like perfect for you guys. So the first thing that they mention in the article is Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond Warhammer 40K collaboration. So as I also go through this news, I'll give you my opinions as a store owner. And I'll give you things that us as stores find out that it's hard for you guys to hear. And hopefully we give all this information to you. So the first thing is the Warhammer 40K collaboration. They're doing commander decks. And I'm going to click over here. And it talks about all the commander decks. And it's super cool. So they have Tyranid Swarm for you Tyranid players, which is green, blue, red. And then we have Forces of the Imperium, white, blue, black, and it looks like there's an Inquisitor on the cover. If you don't know Warhammer lore, Inquisitors would go to planets to try to find out if chaos has infiltrated. Mm-hmm. And then they would, if they deem that, chaos or basically evil in their terms, infiltrate the planet, they'll blow up the whole planet.
Right, it's absolute conquest. So if it caters to your play style, if you want to go and invade, this might have some good synergy in terms of the gameplay.
They didn't release any of cards for it yet. For these ones, just the names, and then the commander deck for Necrons is mono black, so it's all Necrons. Mm-hmm. And then the one that they did release is Abaddon the Despoiler, and that color is red, black, blue. So you don't know Warhammer that much, right?
No, not at all.
So Abaddon the Despoiler, I think he was created by Horus, who defeated he didn't defeat the Emperor. I mean, it's all rumor. The Emperor of Mankind.
Right. I love diving into this lore.
Yeah, got into a huge fight with Horus, and then Abaddon the Despoiler was one of his descendants, I guess you could say.
Well, there is a new box dropping that is Horus themed.
Wait, there's a Horus?
Yeah, there's a new box that's coming out. It got announced at a convention.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into
Horus
that
Heresy,
on the Warhammer side. Yeah, that's during that time in Warhammer 30,000. So that's 30,000 years in the future, and then this is 40,000 years in the future. But this is exciting for anyone that plays Warhammer, and I would pick these up because I believe these are going to be collector's items. Because this is the first print, and then look, they're doing collector's editions.
Right.
And if I read here, it says the collaboration will consist of 4 ready-to-play pre-constructed commander decks. And they're also going to include secret layer drops that could go with these into the commander decks that will have synergy and stuff. So if you're new to Magic the Gathering, it's an exciting way for awesome legendary creatures, big plays, and battling your friends with these Warhammer cards if you're into Warhammer but not Magic yet. And so, let's see here. So check it out. The Collector's Edition comes fully foiled with the never-before-seen special Surge foil and has the same card content. So, as you can see here on screen, I'm showing the Collector Edition boxes, which they don't have the pictures yet, except for Abaddon the Despoiler. But there's a new foiling called Surge foils.
Right.
We don't know exactly what they look like yet. They've been doing a lot of testing with a lot of foils. As long as they don't curl,
we need curl-proof foiling.
Yeah, as long as they're not curling, we're happy. And there's been a lot of games that have been trying out new foils. My Hero Academia their next third set, they're going to be doing new foils and everything, and they're doing a lot of exciting stuff that we'll talk about in a different video. But they're trying new foils. I don't think Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh are trying new foils, are they?
No, the most recent we've explored that's textured has been the premium gold rares.
Yes, but and I would actually like Magic to adopt some of Pokemon's foiling and Yu-Gi-Oh's,
for sure,
like Starlights. Oh my gosh. But they're going to try the new Surge foiling for this. And let's see. So the previews for this stuff is going to begin July 26th. So, I mean, we'll be here giving it to you, but you can mark that down. And the Secret Lair drop's going to be August 12th through the 22nd. So if you follow us, we'll make sure that to announce that to remind you to pick that up. And I anyone that likes Warhammer, of course, get this. But even beyond that, if you're a collector, this is going to be a very big one because Warhammer's not going anywhere, and it's been around for 30 plus years.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
There's a lot of people in this fan base, and because it's a Secret Lair drop, it's only a limited time. So once it's gone, it's gone. So
the last collaboration had a lot of value too, didn't it, with Godzilla and stuff?
Well, so yes. So actually, let me give you a little insight. With the Godzilla one specifically, those lands, I think they were going for $30. And me as a store owner, I bought 30 of them because I knew, I said, these are lands, and lands in Magic are always used in every deck. So I think right now, if you were going to buy it, I think it's $90.
Oh, yeah.
So I essentially tripled my investment, which with this Warhammer one, it'll easily also reach that once it's off. So I'd recommend at least getting a couple. I mean,
for sure.
in all honesty, like get at least, I don't know, at least 4.
We're big on value here in any case.
Yes.
You know? So you're going to hear us talk about a lot of things relative to...
Yep, and I will help with all the investments. You know, I'm not perfect, so I don't know everything, but, you know, I could at least, you know, give some recommendations.
Right.
You know, I'm wrong, though, sometimes, but it's all... just by experience.
Yeah, our market watch is well in the developmental process, I would say.
And then launch weekend is August 12th and 14th. Oh, yeah, so with the Commander decks, I would also maybe, you know, keep one sealed and then buy one for yourself.
For sure.
Okay, so, and then when we go down to the previews here, it shows Abaddon the Despoiler.
Oh, this is the rarity I think they're referring to.
Well, it doesn't. You can't really tell.
Right, it's
in the picture.
pre-release.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
but it does look. This Abaddon card looks amazing, and they even have the Warhammer 40K symbol for the set symbol.
For the set symbol, yeah.
Which looks amazing. And then we have another card, Blood for the Blood God, which is an instant. Man, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. That is crazy, but looks amazing
That's
too.
Plus 8, plus an 8 damage. It's like.
And then
package deal there.
Yeah, we have Vanguard Suppressor. Looks great. Fabricate. And if you want to know more detail of the cards, you just go to wizards.com and then it shows the articles and news. I don't want to take too much time on everything because there's a lot to go over, but this looks amazing. This Warhammer 40K set, the Commander and the Secret Lair. The Secret Lair. So there's 3 Secret Lair drops, which we're excited to share more info on. We have the Warhammer 40,000 Orcs, Secret Lair Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and Secret Lair Blood Bowl. So I know you don't know too much, so I'll explain to you.
Okay.
So Orcs is just amazing. I mean, Orcs is a huge army. I mean, you think Lord of the Rings, there's Orcs. If you think in Warcraft, there's Orcs. I mean, Orcs are everywhere. People love Orcs.
It's a high fantasy villain staple kind of deal. Right?
Yeah. And what's funny about these Orcs for Warhammer specifically is in the lore, whatever they believe is true.
Right.
So in space, in their spaceships, they roll the windows down. And like cruise, and they
just allow it,
yeah, because they believe like, oh yeah, we could roll the windows down, we're not going to suffocate or anything like that we can just breathe normally, and they believe if you paint your vehicle red, it's faster. So there's a lot of cool stuff with that. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with that.
Very immersive kind of like ordeal.
The Age of Sigmar one I'm excited about too because you can see they're doing 40K for all the Commander, which is all sci-fi themed.
Yes.
And Magic is primarily like fantasy, so that's what Age of Sigmar is. Age of Sigmar is fantasy compared to the 40K.
Kind of like
universe.
a sci-fi dystopian kind of deal is what I've noticed.
And then Blood Bowl is football.
Oh.
So they're making a fantasy football secret lair.
I mean, I guess it could get really bloody, cool. Right? You know, for all we know.
Okay.
Very cool.
Next is Double Masters 2022. So the one thing I want to talk about Double Masters is get this product and get a lot of it if you're able to. When the first Double Masters came out, I went heavy on it because it's the first time you get double of everything. Basically, you get 2 rares per pack.
Okay.
2 foils. I think you can get up to 2 mythics. So that was an issue with the last one that came out where it wasn't.
This has to do with the ratios and the rarities.
Yeah, it wasn't 2 mythics or rares, and like you could send in packs and get more stuff. But I think they fixed it this time.
Oh, they had a program where you can like get reimbursed.
Yes.
Wow.
So, and if you still have the packs and you haven't done, I think they're still doing it. Yeah. So because like this line right here, it says each Double Masters booster pack is packed with 2 rares and or mythic cards plus 2 foil cards. So in the original boxes, you couldn't get 2 mythics.
That's interesting.
It was either like a rare and a mythic or 2 rares, and so people found that ratio because they never saw it pulled.
Right.
And so they said, okay, you can send in your packs, and we'll send you more packs because we messed up.
This is like a response to a community like issue. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that's what they did. So, but it looks like they fixed the problem. So this value is just amazing in general. So let's see what they got. So it arrives July 8th, hopefully.
Right.
It doesn't get delayed.
Supply chain issues, delayed. All of that, yeah.
And I could go over delays too. If you comment, I'll get into it. Bringing with it a return of exciting features of original Double Masters releases in 2020. So it looks like they're going to have some reprints.
Okay.
Which, a reprint that would be really good, Mana Crypt. So
we're in need of a Mana Crypt reprint.
Yeah,
okay.
Mana Crypt is when it got reprinted. So this is how crazy it is. When it got reprinted, it went down to $80 a card.
Right, MSRP or whatever. Well, whatever the market dictated.
Let's just say like a TCG Player, Card Kingdom, and then let me open up a new tab here and go to TCG Player.
So this is the history of Mana Crypt, right?
Yeah. So
it is unfolding.
So check this out. And this is where okay.
Wow.
So Mana Crypt, right here.
We've seen 6 known printings, right?
So look, first featured is $181.
LP.
If I go down to the lowest selling, it's $169.
Right.
And then plus tax.
Right.
But it was when it came out. This only goes a year back. But so it shows it was at $135 down here. But it was $80.
That's like a 60% increase.
Yeah, it was $80 right when it got reprinted, and then now look at what it's 40. At right now.
Yeah.
And so don't underestimate these cards and stuff. But so fan favorite cards, right? New amazing artwork, the return of powerful legendary cards, your next commander in eternal format decks. It's pretty cool. And then like what I said about the draft boosters. Come with 2 rares and or mythics plus 2 foil cards.
That's really good.
So, and like before, Double Masters 2022 offers a unique premium draft experience for Magic fans with a twist and play. Now, here's the thing. So, me being a store owner, drafts are going to be more expensive. If you want to draft, tell your local game store, have them get it ready now. Because you got to plan for it because it's more expensive. You want to promote it ahead of time. I plan on running them. It's going to be a lot of fun because this is where you get some overpowered and busted cards.
For sure.
And because when it first comes out, it's going to be cheaper than later on. Because this is what I wanted to mention to you too. I think when the box first came out, it was going for like $250, $300.
I think I remember this back when.
Yeah.
Or at least in 2020, right? That was kind of
and now look, I think I already pulled it up. Look at what they're going for now.
Right.
The cheapest one's $707.
Right. This is big value that you guys might want to hold on to.
And this is only because 2020. This is only 2 years later.
Right.
It's more than doubled. And soon this will go to $1,000 a box because if you even look, $700 to $701. These are going to go and get bought because these are getting bought every day. Look, 512. There's already one that's been bought today. So. So get into this early. When it comes to price, just know it's going to go up. So, the day of release is going to be the cheapest. So getting these drafts, quick. Okay, so previews are going to begin June 16th for this. The card image gallery will be done June 24th. And then we have premium preview if one of your local stores is a premium store. That's July 1st through 7th. And then worldwide release July 8th. So that's really exciting. Okay, so we have the draft boosters, which looks really great. And then, let's see, down here it looks like there's a collector booster for Double Masters 2022. So this is going to be the first time Double Masters did collectors. It looks like this is replacing VIP packs.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure if they're going to bring that back. They haven't announced it. But collector boosters, Double Masters are going to be hot fire. I mean, I know we don't know exactly every card in there, but I guarantee get this, especially if they do a short print run. If you're a collector, get a case. That's 6 boxes. I know that's a lot of money, but it'll pay off. I mean, if I'm going to compare this to another product that did collectors, would be Modern Horizons 2. So
I remember that when they came out, yeah.
We just looked at the Double Masters box. Let's look at Modern Horizons. Let's see, Modern Horizons.
Yeah, if you're in a position with your personal finances to invest in something like this is a huge thing to dig into.
Definitely, and there are a lot of investors. If you're just a player, you could get one.
Right.
But okay, here we go. Booster display, Modern Horizons 2. So I want to say when this first came out, also. Oh, we could even look for the year.
Mm-hmm. The whole 1 year scope. Totally bullish, as an investor would say.
Yeah. So it looks like, I think when it first came out, it was going for around $300.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was cheaper than that. I think the lowest was $300, but if you look on here, $326, like $325.
Right, within that
was
scope,
what it looks like it was going for. I mean, even up to right here at the $350, like right after Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the cheapest is $444.
Right, so we're already looking at a 30% increase, roughly.
Yeah, and this is Modern Horizons 2, where you don't get those the guaranteed doubles of everything.
Right. This was during that shorted ratio period, right?
This was shorted.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is I think there's going to be even more value in the Double Masters box.
Right.
But like this was shorted in terms of just the supply.
Yes.
And if they do the same thing with the Double Masters, which it looks like they're going to do, because like for my store, I know, we put our numbers in, but I think it's going to be highly allocated, which means, a lot of stores are not going to get a ton or get flooded with this product.
Right.
As far as I know as of right now. That could always change. But in general, they usually, collector boosters, especially now, the print run is typically once. Right when it gets released. I know they did different with the other collector boosters like Kaldheim and Zendikar Rising, but even those are all going up, and those were printed a lot more than what these are going to be printed at, I believe. So pick these up if you can. And then, look, we got some spoilers of what could be in here. So Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, just got released, right? I think that card was sitting around $100.
Okay.
Let me double check here. It might have gone down since the.
Okay. We see several. Reiterations.
So if I go off of, you see this says as low as $59.86, but that's because it's probably damaged. So let's just look at the market price for these.
We're going to learn a lot about TCG Player through this series.
Oh yeah, look at this: $75, $70, close to 70, 68, 68.
Right.
But these were, I think, the other day like close to 90, 100, until this probably got announced as the reprint. So now it's down. But still, that's a good card. Now, if you look at this, the Ultimate Masters box topper version, foil. 160, 165. Right? So that's the one that you could get in the collector pack.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be like, okay, I'm going to pull a $160 plus card, from the collector. That's why these are so valuable. But anyways, Kozilek, Lilian Last Hope, very good. Renin 6, which was creeping up close to $100. Amazing. So these spoilers right now are amazing. And then WPN premium stores, they get to run like a preview event starting July 1st.
Right.
And it looks like Weathered Wayfarer and Bring to Light are special promos.
Very cool. Yeah.
While supplies last. All right. Next, Dominaria United. So, let's see. Magic heads into the 30th anniversary celebration with a return to its original setting, Dominaria. Dominaria, I know for my store, I sold out immediately. I actually just reordered the first Dominaria set from a guy online who was selling the boxes. Because I know the boxes they kind of shot up. I got them right before they shot up, I think, for $200 a box.
Right.
Now, I think they're going for maybe almost, not double, maybe like around $300.
But this is where the Planeswalker Teferi debuted, right? Because he was featured in the 2018 print.
I think he was either debuted in the Commander deck first, but this was the Teferi that was printed in the Dominaria. He was played in Standard, and I mean he's still being played. Yeah, right. I mean he was a busted broken card. It's they call him the 5 mana Teferi.
He's one of the
but let's see. So pre-release is going to be September 2nd through 8th, and then worldwide release September 9th. We have a look at the draft boosters that look pretty good. The set boosters, collector boosters. Now, what's so funny, and if there's anybody that watches that owns a store that frequents stores, draft boxes, like no one's buying them from my store. Like sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes.
I think we have a new Capenna draft booster box right there.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, back there.
Yeah, I mean, set boosters have taken over. I know at first people were resisting against the set boosters, but now it's just better value. Where people are like, why would I buy a draft booster when I could pull up to 4 rares or mythics per pack and get art cards, different things. And so I guess draft boosters are really only for drafting now.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if Wizards is seeing this data thinking, they're going to get rid of draft boosters soon and just go all to set.
Right.
But, I mean, draft is still a format.
It's
but
true.
We'll see what happens. That's just, what's happening with my store.
Konami did something similar by doing away with special editions back in 2020, at the beginning of 2020.
Oh, did they?
Ignition Assault was the last booster that featured
you know what? I remember those.
An unlimited print,
I remember those. All right. So, next, they're showing a Dominaria United Jumpstart booster. So, they're bringing back Jumpstart. And if you guys don't have Jumpstart, the original, try to get at least one box to hold on to because they're amazing, especially down the line if you want to open it and play with your friends. It's great. So let's double down on Dominaria United. In addition to draft set and collector boosters, we're adding a fan favorite to the mix, and that's going to be Jumpstart packs themed with Dominaria United. So. Yes. We'll see how that looks. I wonder if it's going to be all the same cards into these packs.
Right? Yeah. What are the ratios?
Or if it's going to be different cards. So it'll be cool. I know. So the original Jumpstart, they did make exclusive cards only from the Jumpstart.
Right.
Which one was a green? I forget the card. It's an elf 1 mana drop. I think it's called Herder, Elven Herder or something like that. But very good, very powerful. And that card was up to $100 at one point too.
Right. So it depends on how liberally the leaks are going to reveal, the contents of that set.
Let me.
Elvish Herder?
Maybe it is Elvish Herder. Did I get it right?
Memory may serve you well. This is from
it's not Elvish Herder.
But you were right. It is a mono green card.
Yeah, I'll just look it up really quick, and then we'll.
Get to the database all the way. I know, the advanced search in TCG Player will save you a lot of time.
Oh, yeah. If you guys didn't know, you got to hit that advanced search.
Because a lot of smaller TCGs don't feature their own hub.
And here it
so
is,
you really got to see. So here we are looking at the OG Jumpstart, right?
Oh, Aloris Shepherd. Or Allosaurus Shepherd.
Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking. Herder. Okay, so right now it's 44, but at one point it was up to 90.
Yeah, it was up there, yeah.
And then good reprint creator of Behemoth Ristic Study. So they have some pretty good stuff.
So shout outs to Jumpstart.
So I'm wondering if they're going to have some new cards like that.
Right.
Or, what they're going to be doing. All right, so next is Love Your Local Game Store.
New promotion.
So this Soul Ring, which has the old border, it's like the retro border. If you spend $50 on sealed Magic product, you get the promo. So I'll be doing it. Come in, spend $50. We'll do it. Make sure your local game store does it, and you could ask them. You could say, "Hey, did you get your Love Your Local Game Store promo where you spend $50? I saw it on Baxter's YouTube, and they said if you're a WPN store, you will get them, which you will.
Very cool.
Or which they will. So it says, together we'll celebrate them in style. The Love Your Local Game Store promotion returns starting July 1st. WPN game stores around the world. So all WPN game stores will get this. They will have a limited amount, but they will have it. So make sure you get yours. Soul Ring, so this is a Commander staple.
Okay.
Everyone plays it. Yeah, this card I'm going to say is probably going to be worth, when it comes out, $5.
For
It'll
sure.
probably be around $5.
Initial promotion
But
stuff.
then later on, I want to say if you give it like 2 years, if they don't reprint this, it'll go up to like 15.
Right.
So it's a good card to just hang on to. All right, next, Battle In-Store Championships this July. Soul Ring is not the only promotional card available. Players will have the chance to show their medal in...
Yeah. Oh yeah, the July 2020.
Players will have the okay. Players will show the chance to. I'm missing. Players will have the chance to show their medal in the July 2022 Store Championship. So scheduled to take place July 9th through the 17th. Scheduled to take place July 9th through the 17th, and featuring formats from Draft and Sealed to Standard, Modern, and Pioneer. Okay, so make sure that you ask your local game store when they're doing this. Get the dates out, have them advertise on Facebook, whatnot. Looks like Flame Slash looks amazing. Archmage's Charm. Oh, so that card alone used to be 50,
so this is important.
$50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're seeing crucial reprints, right?
And Dark Confidant, full art. Ooh, that looks nice.
Ooh. I see the
nice.
Magic player, and you really jumped on that one, yeah.
Yeah. This is a really good card. And look, no text. It's all borderless.
Right.
And they haven't made these types of cards in a while.
Outside from like token placeholders and stuff.
These are all
right?
great cards. Make sure your local game store participates in this. And if they're not a WPN store, tell them to become a WPN store. All right. The gate to new adventure for Alchemy and Historic players. Alchemy Horizons Baldur's Gate, new mechanics, new legends, and powerful new spells, over 250 new cards. So I think Alchemy, that's Arena. Okay, so for you Arena players out there, it looks like a lot of stuff coming July 7th. And let's see. And it looks like they're updating their track to the top MTG Arena Premier Play. Okay, so for Premier Play, they're going to be doing a lot of stuff that will help you get to higher levels of competitive Magic through events that are exciting and fun. And here's the upcoming Premier Play events. May 14th through 15th is Arena Open. It's open to all levels of players with exciting competition and monetary reward. Day 1, Streets of New Capenna Sealed. Day 2, Streets of New Capenna Draft. Traditional draft, best of 3. So mark these down if this is what you want to do to compete. Try to get better. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ads on Arena, but May 14th and 15th. Then May 21st and 27th, we have the qualifier play, and that's going to be single-day events to the qualifier weekend invitations. We have the 21st Streets of New Capenna Sealed, best of 1, and May 27th Streets of New Capenna Phantom Traditional Sealed, best of 3.
Very cool.
Now May 28th and 29th is qualifier weekend, and day 1 is New Capenna Phantom Sealed, and day 2 New Capenna Phantom Sealed. All right, so there's your dates for all you Arena people out there. Also, if you play Arena, don't forget to stop in your local game store to help support them, maybe by collecting some cards or trying some paper Magic.
Stay in touch with reality. I love seeing these pictures because it reminds me of like the new phase of like Marvel movies. You know what I mean? With the promotional pictures and stuff.
Oh yeah, that is true. And then we got the new release schedule. So for 2022-2023, we have at the quarter 3 we have Dominaria United, and then Brothers of War November 18th, which we already knew about from before, but now this is all new. So quarter 1, it looks like that says lacrosse.
Oh, whoa.
Or lacrosse.
Is this part of the football theme? Are they going to go on with lacrosse?
Yeah, I don't know.
Lacrosse, dude?
Yeah.
Codename Lacrosse. We have Codename Marathon. Codename Marathon Epilogue, so that might be some continuity lore-based thing. Codename Netball.
Dude, they're going to bring in the Phoenix Suns?
Hey, you know what? If we can get some kind of crossover to some big sports organization, that would be
And then
history.
off-roading. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You can watch an unforgettable reveal later this year on August 18th.
That's where.
So
okay.
we'll keep track of that.
Stay tuned.
And that's everything for Magic. From the Magic Corner. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me in the comments. Now, for my store particularly, Magic has doing well this quarter. I want to say, so New Capenna has done really well. Kamigawa was amazing.
Right, that's like that cyberpunk Japanese kind of cyberpunk, basically, yeah.
And as far as the market's going, if you've invested into any of these new sets, I highly recommend collector boosters, set boosters. Drafts are kind of falling off the side, so you want to get those if you're drafting for fun. Yeah, I mean, Magic has been doing good for me, and I could probably make a separate video if you guys want me to go in more into how that does. But now we're gonna move on to Yu-Gi-Oh with Ryan here.
All right, thank you, Rocky. So to me, this is a very exciting time for the current Yu-Gi-Oh metagame, for relative to a May set, because last year in 2021 we saw the release of Lightning Overdrive, and I guess competitively speaking, players weren't exactly excited to see new Utopia support.
So they weren't, but you know what? I am all out of Lightning Overdrive. I saved one case in the back that we have open.
Right.
But I think I sold out of Lightning
Overdrive. Yeah, it's very
months.
interesting because I want to go into that real quick for our TCG player. So the one card that really kept Lightning Overdrive up, and it was actually pretty much very present in the meta, it was Diviner of the Herald. It was actually an import. So the irony of what kept Lightning Overdrive so relevant was actually Konami's decision to bring an import from a separate set into the set as a secret. And as you can see, this was actually covered.
Do the 1 year.
Yeah, this was covered in a recent market watch.
Oh my god!
It's fluctuated a lot because we primarily saw Diviner of the Herald.
At its lowest, what was it?
Yeah, so this was post ban list. This was the January list. $37 a copy. This is where we saw the ban of Eva. Very important. You basically made Beatrice, you dumped Eva, and you got 2 more negates, right? That was kind of the strategy.
Yeah.
But the new set, Dimension Force, is going to bring a lot of really exciting concepts that we didn't see really last year up until later on. But if we wanted to summarize the current state of the metagame back from 2020 and onwards, we kind of saw the game go into like this area of like acceleration, right? Otherwise known in card games as power creep. So we saw the introduction of a new master rule, all right? So basically the overall rules of the game changed for a lot of different decks, and we saw a lot of things get restricted, coming in and off of the list. We saw ABC Dragon Buster get literally limited, right? And we're going to talk about ABCs because of this new support in a second. But, as those 2 years have gone by, we saw, just a brief history, we saw the introduction of Phantom Knight support, good trap deck. We saw an introduction to Virtual World.
Yep.
Virtual World kind of signaled the new ruling, right? Because Link monsters were not as required in every single deck because of the rule change, right? And if you're a player of Yu-Gi-Oh, like as of 2020 and onward, they overhauled the Link rulings where you no longer needed to have extra deck monsters point to a Link zone, right? So fast forward, we begin to see like a lot of variety in the metagame that's kind of let it become a little bit more healthier from what was known as the Eternal format. Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have noticed a lot. I watch like DB Grinder. I watch some other Yu-Gi-Oh. There's a lot of different decks that people are bringing.
Yes.
And actually, one of my employees, Justin, he won the
head of our Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, the head of our Yu-Gi-Oh department. He won the whole Phoenix Yu-Gi-Oh regional.
Yeah, this was the Arizona Premier Regional. He won
with Prank Kids.
Yeah. So
well, then the funny thing is, so he won that one. He goes to San Diego.
Right.
And it's like all new decks because I guess the Albat structure deck came out, so everyone was using that. So that to me that shows like a healthy meta. It's ever changing. People are finding more things to do.
It's kind of easier to keep track of the Yu-Gi-Oh meta relative to other games because they don't do a rotation. For those of you who didn't know, a lot of card games such as Pokemon and Magic see a rotation or a block, right? Yu-Gi-Oh, they just kind of keep going and ban and unban certain cards as they go along. And a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh portion of this series is going to cover a lot of ban list speculation and format, evaluation and so on. But the first thing that's really exciting for this week in Yu-Gi-Oh is the release of Dimension Force. We're going to have our sneak peek event. Well, they've changed them to premiere events.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. So
new name, same package, Coke and Pepsi, right? But no, Dimension Force is really exciting because it's kind of one of those sets that's going to subtly introduce a lot of things that we're going to see more prevalently in the competitive scene. And the highlight of what I want to talk about from a competitive perspective is the Therion archetype. The new signature ace monster for this archetype, known as Therion King Regulus, offers a lot of hope for some of these rogue decks, you know, that have needed a leg up in this really accelerating and power creep oriented time in Yu-Gi-Oh!
And is this a secret rare?
Yes, it has been confirmed through our TCG player that King Therion is going to be a secret rare.
Yeah, and they're going close for $50 now.
Right. So the TCG and the OCG have very different conventions with how they print their cards. The America is very straightforward in their initial release, and then they have more incentive to release reprints in their various packaging. But in Japan, this actually comes in a lot of different rarities. If we go over to Japan, and this is just a little bit of fun trivia in Japan, their initial boosters will give you all the rarities you want. It's a little known fact about the OCG. And they don't give a lot of room for reprints because, well, if you want to have your package deal, you can. So this same card is available.
Oh, so you get all those rarities in one pack?
Yes, it's very fascinating.
Oh my gosh, in Japan?
If you look at the set booster for any given set in Japan, and Wikipedia is going to be very helpful if you need to do any independent research. There's a separate tab at the very bottom that covers your secret rares, as well as your prismatic secret rares.
Yeah.
These are very similar to Starlights that we see in America.
Yeah.
And your ultimate rares. And I don't know, it's just two different marketing tactics. You know, as a business owner, you probably understand like what you're dealing with from the given companies and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I do find it funny how they do the OCG and the TCG. I mean, I'm like, why don't you just do all one? But obviously it's because they have a different market that they're appealing to than Americans. And I mean, if it's working, I guess it's working for them, but yeah.
So the concept with King Regulus is you can target one Therion monster or one machine monster in your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, equip that monster to this hand. Now, if you guys sense any synergy with this effect, listen to your gut, because this is exactly what ABC needs to be relevant. You need this for a follow-up, and it also protects you from any hand traps, because it also has the bonus effect of quick effect. You can send one Therion monster card from your hand or field to the graveyard to negate a card or effect. So very, very good stuff there. I think this is a staple that Justin personally is going to be pretty excited to see. But again, cards like this that are inherently included in the set is not the same thing that we saw last year. It's kind of like a new trend. The next thing that I think is going to have a lot of attention to a lot of current meta players is the inclusion of a Legal Knight. So if you don't know, this card is a staple in what is known as the Brave package that was released in Grand Creators.
Oh.
So Grand Creators introduced what is known as a Brave package, which basically gives you a free negate so long as everything goes through.
And a one-card combo.
It's a one-card combo,
I played with the Brave package.
Yeah, so Rocky is very familiar with that. This is a new kind of addition to it. And again, it's hard to go into exactly how much impact this is going to have because we are waiting on a ban list currently. It's currently May the 12th as of this recording, and we have not seen any response from Konami regarding their new format since late January, right?
Oh, yeah,
so
it's been a while.
If we look at Japan's timeline, we did see in their most recent ban list that they limited 2 very essential cards in the Brave package. Now, if Konami wants to go in that same direction, from a marketing perspective, it's unfortunate to say, but sometimes these decisions do have a play into what they choose to have in their formats, right? So if the Brave package gets hit, this will definitely be a welcome inclusion. But if it doesn't, then be ready for some kind of price hike on this card. Currently, it's sitting at $40 on pre-sale, but it's going to have a pretty big impact.
And you can get that from Dimension Force?
Yes, both of these cards are going to be in Dimension Force.
Ooh, that's going to be a good box.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a good chance that, if you're 2 secret rares, I guess we should discuss the ratios. In the TCG, you're supposed to be guaranteed 2 secret rares, plus the addition of a potential Starlight rare, which is essentially a prismatic secret rare from Japan. Yeah, so really competitively charged cards, and this is only a couple of singles that we're going to discuss in this segment for Dimension Force, but I want to bring the really meta-relevant stuff to the forefront here because it's a big deal. I'm going to see if we could find the field spell. Here it is. The Therion archetype is also part of the in-set Yu-Gi-Oh lore that started with Dogmatica and Nadir. They do this every main series, right? So yeah, this is also a staple if you want to get your package going a little bit faster. ABC also has a thing with field spells. Yeah, when this card is activated, you add a Therion monster from deck to hand. This has kind of been a trend in a lot of field spells recently. We saw it in Trickstar Light Stage back in 2018. Adds a Trickstar. Prank Kids Place, add a Prank Kids monster. So it's almost like a shameless blanket like trend that Konami's kind of doing with these field spells. But it's very fascinating, and it's a welcome addition because I think no one's really going to be complaining about this. Because you kind of need products like this to keep the metagame going. And I've experienced firsthand a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players are upset with new cards coming out. I could go for hours about Burst of Destiny and what that did for the meta, right? Because people complained about, Destroyer, Phoenix, Enforcer, and stuff like that. But once you embrace the nature and speed of this game specifically, it's a little bit more easy to come to terms with or come to a place of acceptance with. Right. But moving on to where the market is currently, I'm actually going to refresh this because it changes so much. It's kind of volatile right now during this pre-release period. Yeah, so we're seeing Beyond the Pendulum again. If you checked on the pre-release 2 days ago, this card was sitting at about 89.
Okay, now it's already down.
Right, so it's settling, right? Yeah. I think that pendulums, and I didn't really go into depth about this card specifically, but pendulums are in kind of a sticky place because they can sneak out a regional win or two and maybe top a lot of big events, but they have not been the same without their signature Link monster that got banned 2 years ago. Yeah. So this might be a good supplement to that. So yeah, pendulums are kind of in a 50-50 place. I think there was a lot of excitement when this card came out. I'm gonna pull up a picture of it because it's a pretty card to look at. This is the OCG copy of it right here. And well, let's just bring it up to the article because we need to discuss why this card is important for pendulums. If this card is Link summoned in the extra monster zone, which is again it's a Link monster, you can pay 1,200 life points, add one pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. But for the rest of this turn, unless you pendulum summon after this effect resolves, you cannot activate monster effects, and the effects of any cards in your pendulum zones are negated. So that's the going first component to this card, right? If you're trying to set up your board, you can search, and you can get the resources you basically need. And the previous signature Link monster for pendulums was called Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. And it was a little bit more restrictive in the summoning conditions because you needed 2 pendulum monsters. This one only requires 2 effect monsters, including a pendulum monster. So already, there may be already some precognitive adaptation that Konami knew was going to be needed for the release of this card. And I think it's a very good card. I think you're going to need to run this if you do want to run pendulums. And it's not just for that first effect I've mentioned. It also includes a very important going second effect, meaning it's more break your opponent's board, it's more disruptive. If 2 monsters with different original levels are pendulum summoned at the same time to the zones this card points to, you can target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. So even if it's not your main strategy to summon this going first, you can also bring it out late game. There are a lot of different going first strategies that you can apply with pendulums. It's very easy to do the artifact side lock. It's easy to set up Crystron Halki Fibrax combos. So this just adds another bit of what pendulums have always been known for, which is kind of having a toolbox repertoire. But all in all, Dimension Force is going to be really exciting, and I'm looking forward to its impact on the game, especially when we put into account this looming ban list that a lot of people are just really eager to see. On a more pleasant note, we have, ladies and gentlemen, some details on the Crystal Beast structure deck. This news was posted a while ago, around last month, but it's really important to discuss here because we have some new effects that were announced that we're going to go over. But look at this packaging. So they're really, the experience of buying a structure deck with Konami, at least recently, is kind of a toss-up because in the Charmer structure deck, we offered a mix of ultra-rare promo cards that you could randomly get. in the form of those tokens, right? And then with the Albaz structure deck, they handed all the tokens out in common form. So whatever new trick Konami has, or new, I don't want to say gimmick, but whatever they have in store for this structure deck might really appeal to some nostalgic fans from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And we're going to go over some of the new cards that were revealed as well. At least this is from Japan, but I think it's still going to prove to be relevant. Yeah, so these are some of the cards that are announced for the Japanese release of the structure deck. Now, typically, these cards will be included. It's usually staple reprints that the TCG decides, which is America, decides not to introduce. But this is the first one. This is known as Hogyoku no Kago, which was roughly gem protection. And what this does is, and another disclaimer, in the OCG, they announce hard once per turn effects on the top instead of the bottom. That's just a convention thing. Usually in America, you see these effects placed on the bottom. But you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. So this is target one Crystal Beast monster you control, destroy it, then special summon one Crystal Beast token with the same original type, attribute level, and attack. So it's a token generator. And if a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell and trap zone and this card is in your graveyard, even during the damage step, which is a little interesting considering some rulings, you can banish this card. Special summon one Crystal Beast monster card from your spell and trap zone. So this seems to me like it adds a little bit of floatiness to the Crystal Beast strategy, and it provides a little bit of follow-up in case they've somehow managed to like break their board. This is a trap card, Gem Blessing, Hogyoku no Shukuhuku. So Crystal Grace is also like a tentative translation. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Special summon up to 2 Crystal Beast monsters from your spell and trap zones, and if you do, gain life points equal to their original attack. Okay, so this is kind of like a revival trap. Again, cards like these, you often wonder, like, man, this card could have been really good as a spell. But Konami likes to have some sense of balance. If a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell and trap zone while this card is in your graveyard, even during the damage step, you can banish this card. Excavate the top card of your deck, and if it is a Crystal Beast monster, either add it to your hand or special summon it. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. So, you know, these spells and traps have a little bit of follow-up with their graveyard effects. And it seems to me like you can still use them the same turn they're sent to grave, which is helpful. It seems to me like they're also including a mechanic that allows them to activate certain effects during the damage step that otherwise wouldn't be allowed. Because in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! There are a lot of complex rulings about this one aspect of the battle phase known as the damage step. You're restricted to only certain effects, such as effects that either negate activations or lower the attack and defense values. Those are the two common effects that are allowed in damage step. But it seems like they're trying to introduce some kind of mechanic with these cards that surpasses that. Next, we have Hogyoku no Kiseki, otherwise known as Gem Miracle or Crystal Miracle. This is a counter trap, and we know from experience, whether it be Yang Zing or Salomon Great, that a lot of decks are going to have their own inherent counter trap, right? So this is a new one. So when a spell, trap, or monster effect, so it's generic monster activation or spell or trap activation, is activated, destroy one Crystal Beast card you control. And if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy that card. Okay. If a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell and trap zone while this card is in your graveyard, even during the damage step, you can banish this card. Place one Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up. So a lot of these seem to have a lot of recursion and recovery involved by placing your Crystal Beast in the spell or trap zone. Hopefully that helps you set up for the big boss monster. You know, any of your Rainbow Dragon or Ultimate Crystal variants that you have. We're going to see a Dark Rainbow Dragon reprint. Crystal Master, Crystal Keeper. These are the two Pendulum cards that I think were introduced in Extreme Force. Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. This is the original field spell. Crystal Beacon, Crystal Abundance. Rare Value, which has always been considered one of their best cards. Advanced Dark, and Crystal Conclave. So you just never know. Like, Konami can go a lot of different directions to elevate an old archetype or a legacy archetype to make them good. We've seen that with Cyber Dragons. Cyber Dragons have been giving that treatment since as early as 2014 with the structure deck that introduced Cyber Dragon Nova. We saw it again in Breakers of Shadow with Cyber Dragon Infinity. We saw, over the years, Cyber Dragons have kind of been that good GX era example of a deck that became meta. So I don't believe that this is what is necessary to make Crystal Beast that competitive, but we'll just have to wait and see. Otherwise, if you're a fan of nostalgia and you really enjoy this era of Yu-Gi-Oh, then I would still recommend you pick this up. Aside from that, following along with the excitement, around promoting Crystal Beast and the new structure deck, we're also seeing, this was announced a couple days ago, the new Battles of Legend pack known as Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge. Last year we saw Brothers of Legend, but now we're kind of going back to the Battles of Legend naming convention. And usually these are tentative to change, set name and subject, or content subject to change. But they haven't usually changed the naming convention, at least recently. So we can expect that this is the actual name. But there's not much revealed with this. It's going to have some support from King's Court. So Yugi's legendary face card monsters with King's Knight and Queen's Knight and Joker's Knight. I'll just read the blurb. Duelists who built a deck with Joker's Knight from King's Court and the Three Musketeers of face cards will finally be able to incorporate Yugi's Royal Straight Slasher from the finale of the Grand Championship arc into their strategy. And I'm going to go on a limb and see if we have an anime article on that and see if it's... Yugipedia is a really great tool for looking stuff up like this. So right now this is not yet released. We have a picture of it from courtesy of Japan. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned with Royal Straight. If you have Queen's Knight, King's Knight, and Jack's Knight in your graveyard, you can send one monster of each level between 1 and 5 from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. If you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. So this is a great going second card if you're incorporating this strategy. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target up to 3 Light Warrior monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. So I don't know if this is exactly what Royal Straight Slasher did in the anime. Maybe they've powered him up a little bit, but let's check. A lot of these cards have, so it's gotten a little bit of an upgrade from what we can see from this anime text. So it's good. It's a thoughtful addition. Usually everything that goes into Battles of Legend goes into these animation. It will include cards from the Animation Chronicle sets from Japan. We saw this over the course of the last 4 years with Battles of Legend. So a lot of what grabs people's attention with these Battles of Legend sets usually is also in the form of the reprints, right? Brothers of Legend saw Forbidden Droplet. Heroes Revenge, I think it was, saw Sky Striker cards. The original Battles of Legend had Galaxy Soldier and so on. So, if you're not a fan of Animation Chronicle cards, you can also expect a really good spread of imports as well. So I think if I had to go on a limb and imagine what kind of reprints we would have, I'm going to guess that we're going to see, because this archetype dodged the Megatons, we're going to see the return of, or reprints of the Evil Twin archetype. It'd be really cool to see these printed in secret rare form. We do have the collector's rare prints already, but there's a good chance that, this archetype saw some competitive play, right? It's always been splashed into other decks, whether it be Eldlik, Splites coming up, which we're going to cover in another video because that's going to require a lot of our attention. I think that one of these archetypes that dodged the Megatons could see a reprint, but the one on the top of my head is going to be Evil Twins if I had to guess, right? So on to the more subjective aspect of this segment. We need to discuss this upcoming ban list, right? It's really up into the air on which direction Konami wants to go. I, for one, believe that they've made a lot of improvements over the years. I don't see emergency ban lists emerging after, tier 0 formats like we did last in September or October of 2017 with spirals. I think overall the game is in a healthy format, but there's a caveat to that. The format could get a lot worse if they so choose to want to push the Despia agenda. Because Prank Kids, if they lose access to Verte Anaconda, for example, or the Brave package, I'm just going to pull up real quick, because we need to discuss some of the cards that are maybe on the chopping block. As we can see in the last ban list, Japan outright banned Verte Anaconda, our friend here. But if Prank Kids lose access to this, it does hurt them. It hurts the consistency of the DPE package, the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer package. It really just depends if Konami is done with bringing this stuff through the ringer. Like, if they're done trying to promote Burst of Destiny, then they may just go ahead and chop this. I could see reason for it. It's a little easy for a lot of decks to just kind of do some lazy fusion summoning by making this card for 2 effect monsters and bringing out DPE, right? And it kind of hurts a little bit to see you fight against your opponent's board just to have them end with this, right? But there's a necessity for stuff like that, because I think that the game is advancing, and the current debatable top deck doesn't even run this card, right? So Konami might be a little late to answering the call of the ban list. They've kind of done that before. I mean, EVA could have been hit one format earlier and not have to suffer what it did in this format, but I think that, again, this is very subjective and it's all up in the air. Another thing is Rite of Armisia. This is part of the Brave package. And again, if we read the tea leaves, we see that it was limited in the OCG on their most recent ban list, which is Japan. This is your token generator. This also helps you search Fateful Adventure, or helps you activate it. You actually can't hand trap this, so keep that in mind. So don't jump the gun if you're not entirely sure what this package does. But this is another thing that could hurt another top deck, which is Prank Kids, and it could create a very narrow, more streamlined format for this upcoming format, depending on what they choose to hit. For me, if we're dealing with a situation where a top deck is clearly the most dominant, but it's a new product, it's very likely Konami's not going to take action against it. Because again, as we mentioned before, the market also has a way of dictating the competitive format, because, well, they want to push this product. If we had to go over cards that I think we could see return to boost other decks, because Konami is generous in that sense, the most recent ban list allowed for us to see certain cards return, such as Destrudo, Lunalight Tiger, Astrograph Magician, or Astrograph Sorcerer. So yeah, if Konami so chooses to be generous, I believe that we could easily see the return of Thunder Dragon Colossus. And I'm just going to leave, images of this so that we can see and understand. So it's limited in Japan right now because it's still a very powerful card and it's currently banned. It got banned during the new Master Rules back in 2020. But it's basically Mistake on legs. Neither player can add cards from the main deck except by drawing them. It's crazy because if you looked at a card like this 20 years ago, in kind of like the earlier years of Yu-Gi-Oh!, they wouldn't think this was that good. Because back then it was mostly draw cards, right? But as Konami is aware, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has evolved. And I think Colossus is a very, very important card because it shows the significance of why searching is good and why you need to search to make your deck consistent. But if we saw this card return, we might be able to see other cards and other decks incorporate this to counter some of the more search-heavy decks. But again, this is all up in the air. This could go in any number of directions. And since Konami hasn't posted a ban list, we can only speculate. So I guess every channel needs to succumb and speculate on a ban list. And this is our time. The next card I think could come back. And again, forgive me if this is a little bit of a reach. But I think, based on what we've understood about the True Draco archetype, there's literally not much going on. It's kind of like a stun deck. And this was their old boss monster. And as you can see, it's unaffected by the cards or the effects of cards of the same type that was used to tribute summon it. So True Draco was all about tributing different spells and traps and monsters, and their spells had graveyard effects, and their monsters had effects which let them search and remain consistent. And they basically just beat. It's a very old school oriented kind of Yu-Gi-Oh deck. It's just normal summon, tribute summon, or whatever, and attack your opponent, literally. Along with a lot of other floodgates and other traps that brought the game down to their pace. But I think in a time like this, it wouldn't hurt to see one of these come back. Yeah, you can end up protecting it in a lot of different ways, and it has the ability to pop your opponent's cards, but I've seen other YouTubers speculate that this card could come back, and I'm kind of in agreement with them. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see, right? So, as far as new events and new products for Yu-Gi-Oh!, that's pretty much going to cover it. For this last segment, I'm going to go over some Pokemon news, and I think this is really exciting because Astral Radiance has been announced, and courtesy of Ludkin's Media, we have access to a lot of the cards that are going to be introduced to the West. So I'm just going to briefly glance over these. It's been a while since I've personally been involved with competitive Pokemon, but I will try to provide as much analysis as I can. Yeah, so a lot of these were just dropped today on this article. I'm going to actually stop right here at this Greninja. So this is a new rule for... It's kind of like what we've seen with Sun and Moon. You know, you can only have one of these cards on the field. This is a Radiant Pokemon in this case, and you can only control one in your deck. You can only have one in your deck. But I want to talk about this ability, Concealed Cards. You must discard an energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once per turn, you may draw 2 cards. Now, this might seem like a really, good effect. It's good utility, and if you know anything about Pokemon, you draw a lot in that game. But there's a little combo that we can incorporate with Melanie. So I'm just going to look at this first printing. I think this is the first printing. Attach an energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. And if you do, draw 3 cards. So, I'm not an expert, but there's a little bit of synergy with those 2 cards here. So if you're building a water deck, this might be a good basic Pokemon to search for to get your combos going from your bench. That's really cool. I didn't make mention of this earlier, but this is the new rarity. This is Astral Rare, I believe is what it's called. It's not really, there we go. We can zoom in right here, and then we can see, you can't really see from the picture, but the foiling expands and follows in this kind of like tile pattern. It's really, really pretty. Really pleasant to look at. But, yeah, I'm just going to scroll over some of the new releases here so we can get a cool picture. A lot of nice art featuring the DLC from Sword and Shield. We have Galarian, Zapdos. The 3 legendary birds are going to be featured in this. But yeah, so as more leaks come out, we're going to follow up with it as we go for our Pokemon department. But all the way, it's very nice to see all of these in one package, so in one page. So thank you to Ludkin's Media for offering that. This was a new announcement that I thought was really cute. Pokemon TCG Back to School pencil case and Back to School eraser blister. There's nothing like going back to school and bringing in your new school supplies or what have you. And a lot of us have stories from when we were in school about trading cards in the schoolyard and so on and so forth. This is a really pleasant addition. Let me see what other pictures we can get. Yeah, let's see. The pencil case includes a pencil tin and 2 booster packs. The eraser blister includes 1 out of 2 Eevee or Pikachu erasers and 2 booster packs. Last year, a TCG pencil tin case was sold in France. Okay, so this is kind of maybe new to American customers. Really pleasant. I don't know, it's really cute. Eevee and Pikachu are often always paired up together as kind of like the cutesy 2 Pokemon that you can go and choose. We know that with the video games, obviously. Let's go Eevee, let's go Pikachu. Overall, really pleasant experience. This, I'm just going to go over this very, very briefly because this is the Dark Phantasma set. And in Japan, these are all the SR, CHR, CSR, HR, and UR cards. And I'm just going to briefly go over them. I cannot read Japanese, but we might spot some reprints along the way. Again, this continues the Hisuian Pokemon that we're going to see. Let me just find one here. Here you go, Hisuian Electrode. Very interesting. It's a grass type, and we saw a grass Electrode in the last set in Astral Radiance as well. So, ever since the Alolan archetypes came out, we saw a lot of different types. So that's kind of cool. I believe this is a Hisuian Gudra, but it might just be a regular Gudra, actually. I'm not familiar. I haven't played Legends of Arceus just yet, guys, so please bear with me on that. We got some Rainbow Rare Trainer cards. Very cool. Again, pardon the lack of in-depth education concerning this, but let's just admire the artwork together, guys. I don't want to misinform you guys as we're going through this new set. So yeah, we can expect Dark Phantasma to be released sometime in the next couple of months after Astral Radiance. Whoa! Time skip. Rocky's appeared from another dimension.
I am back.
Yes. Ready to talk about Warhammer, correct?
Oh, we're on the Warhammer.
Yes.
All right, well, let's get to it. For all you people that like 40k Age of Sigmar and Blood Bowl, Necromunda, all that good stuff. So let's see what we got here. What's really good information, if you didn't know, if you go to gamesworkshop.com, who does all Warhammer, they have the Warhammer community page. It gives you a lot of good information. So some of the prime stuff I just wanted to talk about today. So check this out. I know this was a little bit from behind, but we're getting a combat patrol for Chaos Space Marines, which I think gives a lot of info that they're going to start releasing new models and a new codex, because they need a new codex. A codex is the book where you get all your rules that you play.
The Imperial Knights had an outdated codex too, from what some players have told me.
Yeah, they need to make a new one.
Mm-hmm. And they're coming out with one. It was announced. Yeah.
And then we got the Avenging Sylvaneth, Chase the Skaven Across the Realms. So this looks actually really cool, because for Age of Sigmar, this is Sylvaneth versus Skaven. And when I first started Warhammer Fantasy, I was a Skaven player, because I got the Blood of Island kit, which came with High Elves versus Skaven. And so this is, pretty cool. Ooh, look at that. So that's a Skaven.
I love the detail that you can put into these figures, by the way.
Oh, yes. I mean, look at it. So Games Workshop is like the best when it comes to models. I mean, and as time goes on, they just keep looking more fantastic. And it looks like you get their new codexes with cards.
Echoes of Doom.
So that's really exciting. Let's see. They did announce the Heresy tank today, which just looks amazing. And you could probably use this as a different type of tank for any other battle that you want. So they're bringing back the new 30K like format and role system and everything too. If you have a local game store and they don't carry Warhammer, but you want them to do Warhammer, try to make friends in that area.
Yeah, get to know your community.
To show that you're going to be playing at their store, that they should carry it, because they need to start more than just the collector line, or what's it called? It's called the best sellers rack.
Okay. Okay.
So what I did when I got into Warhammer, I mean, I went all three.
Factions, right? Is that what they're called?
Not factions. So this is as a store owner ordering from Games Workshop. They have bestsellers rack, then they have line A and line B, and that's all like the main product. That's a good start of what you want to carry, because when you play Warhammer, when you go into a store, you want to see that they carry a lot of the factions. You don't want to just see that they carry, just Space Marines and like Tyranids. And
you don't want to see bias, right?
Right, because then you're like, they don't really support it. So for you game store owners out there, Warhammer is one of the best things you could get into, because it's the margins for us are really good compared to card games. And, I mean, it's just fun in general. I mean, it's awesome.
It's fun for everybody. It's fun for you. It's fun for the players.
Yeah, so I really encourage it. And if you want to look more into it, like I said, the Warhammer community page, they do releases every single week.
Oh, it's like a
in
newsletter.
Warhammer. Every week, something new releases in Warhammer. We're in like Yu-Gi-Oh! What is it, every month? In
It
Magic,
feels
it's every
like
month.
it. Yeah.
Well, it's every
Product
week
really-
in Warhammer.
Wow.
That's what's even crazier. And so, look, we even have the new Middle Earth coming out. So Middle
really
Earth is
cool.
Lord of the Rings,
Right.
and it's a miniature game based off of
Ooh,
it.
they
So
have the
other-
Easterlings from the third movie.
Yeah.
If we go up. Yeah,
Yeah,
those
right
are really
here.
cool.
And so, so there's a lot of cool stuff for Warhammer coming out. But what I'm most excited for, like I was saying before, is the new Combat Patrol and the new box of the Skaven. And they used to be called Wood Elves. They changed the name to Sylvaneth. So they changed all of Warhammer Fantasy names to their
Okay.
own name so they could copyright them.
Right.
But hey, we're excited for this. And so that's it for Warhammer that's coming up.
Really cool stuff.
And guys, please like and subscribe our channel. We're trying to get this news out to you. We're going to be cutting this up into segments and having one big long video. We're also going to be doing shorts. And let us know what you guys like to see and more information that we don't cover. If you want to see that, let us know. And more stuff about my store. I'm in Queen Creek, Arizona, Baxter's Game Store. If you have any questions, just let me know. Or if you're also trying to start a store yourself, I would love to give advice on what to do. But so far, that's it. And we will see you. We're going to try to be releasing a video every Friday.
Yes.
So we'll see you for the next news next
Stay
week.
tuned.
And until then, it's Baxter's Realm over all platforms. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Baxter's Realm. And we do stuff on there all the time, all sorts of content.
All right.
All right.
Have a
So
good
see
one,
you
you
later.
guys.